If somebody would have told me years ago when Mikey was, a kid, that Mikey would be the first one of our family to make it to the UFC and get a world title shot, I would have said you were crazy. Now, if somebody said maybe me or Brad, I would be like, okay, it makes sense because me and Brad we were crazy.
I've watched them do this their whole life. I wouldn't have chose this, but because they chose it and it's their passion, I support that, and I'm very proud of each one of them.
I'm very peaceful, but when it comes to my job, I have the power to put people away. What I want people to think when they hear that you might be fighting Michael McDonald, immediately I want them to think, wow, I might be getting knocked out in a couple months.
Now for the fun part, huh?
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, and the people that make Mike great are, his brothers and his fellow teammates.
Switch! Good follow-up, Mike. I like that spin. I like it.
Both of my brothers, they push me and I push them.
Switch!
Me and my brothers we just go. We love to fight. That's where our heart is. It's just here, fighting, training martial arts. I don't like the gym. I don't like working out, but I love this. This is my favorite thing in the world.
I don't want to think about being the youngest champion ever because it's not my position to think about right now. I don't even want to look at a title. I'm just going to focus on the task at hand, and that's coming home with a victory.
Hanford was a town that I grew up in. It was a pretty small town. It's a lot of farmland, kind of like a little country town.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. My name is Chris Granger, and on behalf of the Sacramento Kings and our ownership group, we are thrilled to welcome the Ultimate Fighting Championship back to Sacramento for the first time in far too long. Thank you. We clearly have some of the best fight fans in the world right here in Sacramento and in Northern California, and we are thrilled to put them on display on Fox for the world to see on December 14th. We have a tremendous amount of respect for Frank, Lorenzo, Dana, the UFC, and of course, the athletes themselves, and it will be a tremendous honor for us to host them here in Sacramento for the first of hopefully many times to come in the upcoming months. Tickets for the event go on sale tomorrow on Ticketmaster.com and here at the Sleep Train Arena box office, and I encourage everyone to buy your tickets early. This will be a very, very hot ticket, and deservedly so. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Matt Radmanovich of the UFC. Matt.
And I apologize, everyone. Dana White sends his regards. He couldn't make it today, but he was definitely looking forward to being back in Sacramento in December. Thank you to Chris and the staff here at Sleep Train and the Sacramento Kings. UFC on Fox, Pettis vs. Thomson takes place Saturday, December 14th, here at Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento, California. Our first visit, as Chris alluded to, since 2007, so we're really excited to be back. It will be broadcast live on Fox, and tickets are available now for Fight Club members and for those that subscribe to our newsletter. Tomorrow it will go on sale 10 a.m. to the general public. 4 excellent fights will highlight this card. Starting off first, we have featherweights Nick Lentz and Chad Mendez, who trains here in Sacramento. We've got an amazing fight between Matt Brown and Carlos Condit. Another bantamweight battle between Michael McDonald and Uriah Faber. I know everyone's looking forward to that. And then obviously the main event of the evening, Josh Thomson will challenge Anthony Pettis for the lightweight title. I'm going to open it up to questions from the media, and then obviously we'll try to get some fans involved afterwards, and then we'll square off and then stick around. We might have time for some photographs and autographs at the conclusion. So with that, I'll turn it over to the media.
It's questions for Josh. Josh, been in the sport a long time. True vet of the sport. I think for a lot of people, you're a Strikeforce staple, and they wondered, would we ever see you back in the UFC? Not only are we seeing you back in the UFC, one fight in the UFC, and you're looking at a title. What's this journey been like, and how much does it mean to, as you've said numerous times, close out your career in the UFC?
It means a lot. I mean, I've come full circle. You know, when I left the UFC in 2004, I was there from 2000 to 2004. I left as the number one lightweight in the world, basically. You know, Yves Edwards and I were the last fight in the lightweight division for 2 years. So it means a lot. I mean, I guess having longevity in the sport is important. I've seen names come and go, top names come and go, all the hype, you know, around certain fighters come and go. So the fact that I'm here and I'm still at the top and I'm fighting for the UFC title, just come full circle. It makes me feel good.
With all that coming and going, as you mentioned, what do you attribute to your longevity? I mean, you have an extremely exciting fight style, one that necessarily isn't conducive to longevity, but yet you've been able to stick around.
It's always getting better, always improving my craft. You see with all the top guys. Look at Uriah, you know. I mean, he's been doing it for years, you know, and it's just always trying to find ways to get better. You know, when people start figuring out your game, you've got to change it up. You know, for a long time, I was just a wrestler. I started doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of grappling, and then changed from that to being a striker, you know, and then now I'm going back and forth, you know, in between. I've become a full mixed martial artist, so every time you do that, it opens up your game to be whoever you want in the ring, you know, so if something closes, if one door closes in that ring, I can open another one.
Absolutely. And Anthony, newly minted champion. It was obviously a great fight, a historic fight, your second with Benson. Now you're looking at Josh. First it was TJ, now it's Josh. The change in opponent, has it changed anything in your camp? I know we're early. And what's life been like for you since you've got the belt? Do you feel any added pressure? Just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? My main goal was to stay active. I mean, after I fought Henderson, I decided to take a fight right away. I feel for TJ Grant, man. He's injured. The concussion's nothing to play with. So hopefully he gets better. He gets his shot at the lightweight title because he was supposed to be where I'm at. Fighting Josh, we were gonna fight actually before I signed the Henderson fight. We were in talks about fighting in Texas, and now it's here. So a little trash talking was done. I respect him as a fighter, and I'm gonna do what I set out to do. I want to finish these guys in the first round.
So as Josh said, as one door closes, another opens.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, a lot of respect for Josh. He's been around the sport for a long time. Like you said, he's 35 years old. He's still fighting. That's something I want to do. I'm 26. I want to be around when I'm 35 and still be at the top of the lightweight division.
My question's for Uriah. How's it going? Welcome back to Sacramento for such a big event. What does that mean to you to have this happen in your hometown?
Oh man, I'm excited. What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? Yeah, I've had the opportunity to fight in Sacramento quite a few times, and this is the first time as a UFC event. You know, we've done the WC before, but I love the crowd here, and fighting an opponent like this, I need somebody dangerous to make me bring out my best game. And I've known Michael for a long time, and so it's going to be some National Geographic type of action out there. Two Northern California animals meet in the cage. Only one walks out. I think it's going to be nasty, and I'm looking forward to a fight.
So do you feel like it gives you, all right. Are you feeling a home court advantage at all, or what's that like?
I know the energy is going to be crazy in there, and I can't help but feed off that, but I'm sure he's going to have some fans in there as well. You guys should give him some love as well from NorCal. We do it. But, I know that I've got a huge fan base, but I feel like I have that everywhere I go. So I'm looking forward to feeling that energy. That's something that's really, really unique, getting out there and having everybody's attention pointed at you and all the screaming and it's rock star status at that moment. You only get it so many times in your life, and I'm going to take it all in and enjoy it.
And Michael, what's it like for you to be, Uriah Faber? It's Northern California. What's this experience been like for you, and what do you expect on fight night?
I expect fireworks. I've had a lot of time to kind of break that barrier for a lot of people between fan and now competition. I was like 16 years old when I was seeing all my competitions started fighting. So I started off like watching everybody else already doing it. So I'm young in the sport, but I feel like I've had a lot of time to kind of break that barrier between like, oh, I'm not just their fans anymore. Now they're my opponents. These are the opponents I've been looking at for a long time, and when it comes to time to watch other fights, I get to be a fan, but when I watch other people in my division, that breaks in their competition. So it's no different than any other opponent, but I'm glad to be fighting close to home, as close as I've ever fought to home, so that's nice.
How do you train for a guy like Uriah Faber?
I'll just try to emulate him as much as I can. He's a stronger guy, so obviously train with a lot of stronger guys. I train with a lot of big, strong wrestlers, a couple weight classes up. Just make sure my wrestling defense is good. I have one of the best takedown specialists on the planet as my personal wrestling coach. I go there twice a week, Jordan Keckler. He's one of my best friends. And training my wrestling with him, training my strength and conditioning, just trying to be an all-around martial artist.
Yeah, nice. Appreciate it. And one more, I just wanted to, Chad, gotta holler at you. You're another guy that's familiar out here in this area, and we love you as an athlete and a fighter. What's it like for you to be fighting here at Sleep Train and Northern California? I'm sure you've got an abundance of fans. What's this experience been like for you?
This is going to be great. I got to fight on the WC card that was here, the one and only pay-per-view they did, and it was unbelievable, man. I took that fight on short notice, and I just remember walking out, and the crowd is unbelievable. The best crowd that I've ever fought in front of, and I'm super excited to get out there and feel that energy again. Fighting with all my teammates, that's one of the coolest things I could ever do, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be sweet.
Chad, since you've already got the mic, you're already kind of there, I want to know, you guys just brought Bang into your camp. I want to know what's the biggest thing that he's brought to you as a fighter now that he's part of your guys' camp?
For me, Dwayne's system is it's unbelievable. The technical aspect of it, the way he breaks everything down is like, something I've never seen before. In wrestling, we would drill, a basic wrestling practice. You warm up, then you drill for like an hour over all the techniques. Then you do the live stuff, try to, do the stuff that you've gone over in the drilling in the live. And, we never really did that before Dwayne was there. And, he has us drilling a ton of techniques with the stand-up and then using it and coaching us during the live sparring and stuff. So I think for me, that's the biggest part that's really helped out my confidence as far as the stand-up part of it goes. And for me, it's awesome to have that head coach figure that I can, trust in and believe in. And, he is that for me. And, I get in there, I know that I've put in the work and I've done the right things through my camp instead of just kind of guessing, I hope I did the right things. I don't really have that head coach to kind of tell me to kind of step back and look. It was basically just all of us kind of helping each other out. And, that's great because we're all top-level athletes and we've done something in some other kind of sport. But, having that head coach where that is his full-time job, it helps me in the confidence level. And I think that's just kind of the biggest thing for all of us at Team Alpha Male is having him there, and everyone kind of trusts in him and believes in him, and I think it's been showing. So
great. Thank you very much. Uriah, quick question about who do you want? First of all, I'm super excited about this fight between you and Michael. I think it's going to be phenomenal. After this fight, if per se you get the win, which I know you anticipate, do you want Barral or do you want Cruz?
I don't make those kind of decisions, but of course there's the animosity between Cruz and I, so I'd love to see that, but I also want to fight the best guys. I've got to focus on Michael right now. The guy is no joke. I'm going against a dangerous kid, and I have to take that serious, so that's all I'm really focused on. Get past that, I'll be 4 in a row, and get in for a title. But I think there's some things that need to happen there first before I make any statements about who I want to fight. I want to fight the best guys in the world. Whether I like Cruz, Barral seems like a nice guy. Cruz does, gets on my nerves. Whatever.
Yeah, we know that. So, last question is kind of for everybody. I know everybody's probably getting ready to start your full training camp, being that you're getting ready to fight in December. I'm curious, what's your last meal before you get into the dieting and cleaning everything up?
For me, I eat like pretty much the same, just eat less of it. And then like the last couple weeks is when I really get strict. So the same things I eat every day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I pretty much will eat the same stuff throughout the camp.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Pizza. I like pizza, or a burger, or whatever.
Yeah, making 155 is not an issue for me, man. So I get to eat regular throughout the whole camp. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like Uriah. I eat pretty much the same. It's the same thing every time in and out of camp. Maybe mixed in with a beer too. That's about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, my situation's a little weird. Everyone always starts up here and they lose weight. I'm in the process of gaining weight in my weight class, so I don't have to watch it as much. I kind of like to give my body a little bit, here like a dog. Here's a cookie, now go run a mile, give it a little bit so it gives me a little bit more. So, but the last thing that I have, which I can't have a couple weeks before, oh my gosh, almond Haagen-Dazs ice cream. That's mine.
New sponsor, right? Not yet. I'm just like Uriah and some other guys. I just eat clean all the time, and just a little bit less right before the fight is all you gotta do, and try to keep it clean all the time because you don't want to, make it like a bigger deal than what it is really. You should enjoy yourself all the time. You only live once, so enjoy your food all the time. Because I have to answer you guys' questions.
No, when it comes to food and stuff, I have one of the most strict diets in the world, I think, as far as fighters go. I just keep it real even keel, but because I'm so strict with my diet, every weekend I get to eat wherever I want. So I usually go out to restaurants and stuff. I travel a lot of time. I'm foodie myself, so wherever I can find a really good sushi restaurant or some shit like that.
Uriah, with Michael McDonald, fans will talk about his frenetic energy kind of being unpredictable. As an opponent, when you look at him, is he that unpredictable, and does he compare to anyone you've already fought in your experience?
I wouldn't say he compares, exactly like anyone that I've fought before. I've fought some really dangerous strikers, Jose Aldo, Barao. Cruz thinks he's dangerous. He's good. He's not dangerous, though. I've fought a lot of guys throughout the years that are tough fighters. When I first fought Jens was, had that left hand that was scary, and I feel like what he brings right now is super unique to the weight class is that he's really, really accurate. He's one of the most accurate strikers in the division, and I'm one of the most durable and well-rounded fighters in the division. So leads to an advantage for me, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to being tested. Like he said, he wanted to test this chin, this big old chin right here. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm ready for that. I've been testing it for the last 10 years. Solid.
Obviously, first time back since '07. That's been well documented here in Sacramento. For Chad to share this moment with someone like Uriah on this card, what's that mean to you?
Yeah, I got to fight. The card that I fought on in Sac, I was with Faber also, but it was awesome. I mean, being able, anytime I'm with any of my teammates on any kind of fight card, it definitely helps and it makes it a lot more fun. All these guys, Team Alpha Male, everyone, we're all basically like brothers. And, we joke around, goof around, keep the mood light. And, it's awesome to be able to go through an entire training camp at the exact same times. We're basically redlining our bodies at the same time, knowing when we need to cut back a little bit, helping each other out as much as possible. And, being able to travel, have our coaches there at the same time. And it definitely helps. I feel like I have an advantage when I have my teammates there on the card also.
My final question back to Uriah. I mean, being kind of the face of Sacramento UFC and MMA fighting, I mean, when the Kings got new ownership, how much in the back of your mind was we need another event here in Sacramento since it's been so long?
Oh, it's been huge. You know, I'm so behind Sacramento as a community and California in general. I feel like it was huge for us to keep the Kings. I was, you know, all for that, and we have this new arena that's coming in, which is going to be big for our community. And anytime we can bring money and excitement to our area, I'm pumped for that. And yeah, it's exciting. And like, you know, for me, fighting with Chad's going to be awesome also. You know, I think, you know, part of the enjoyment of me being a leader of my team is seeing all these guys' success. Chad was one of my first training partners when he was a freshman in college. A lot of people don't know that, and no one knew who I was. You know, he was the guy, like one of the only guys that would go with me up at, you know, we'd go up to Lake Tahoe and work wrestling camps. And Chad was one of my first training partners in 2003, 2004. So to be where we're at today is pretty awesome. And Sacramento, you know, it's going to be a treat.
Chad, hi. What was the last thing you killed, just for the record?
A buck.
A buck? How many points?
In Utah. It was a 4x4.
Dana White said on the radio today that should you get past Nick, that a title shot was in your very near, if not immediate future. I know you'd never overlook an opponent, assuming a win. How hyper-focused are you on getting another shot at that belt?
I mean, yeah, just like you said, I'm not overlooking anybody. I never do. But, I mean, that's something that's got to be in the back of my head at all times because that's the ultimate goal of mine. You know, I bust my butt in the gym every day for that goal. I want to be the champion. I want that belt. I want to be the best in the world. And, you know, Nick's the next guy they put in front of me. I got to get in there and I got to finish him. And, you know, I want that title, so.
Uriah, we're in Sacramento. You're going to get a lot of Sacramento-centric questions. And it is an advantage, and we know you like fighting in front of the home crowd. But talk a little bit about the negatives, if there are, fighting here as far as media responsibility, the extra added pressure on you here as opposed to maybe fighting in Canada or Florida or wherever. There's also that side you have to deal with as well, I assume.
Yeah, you know, there's the upsides are huge. I wouldn't say the downside is the pressure. It's just like, first off, they only give me 4 tickets. So everybody in the world is like, hey, if you got one of those extra tickets, hook it up. I don't have any tickets. I have to buy them too. And then, you know, there's a big burden for me to do a lot of the media. And already everyone knows where to find me. You know, they can show up at my house. You know, my buddies show up to my house whenever. My dad lives next door. He's like knocking on the door at like 7:30 in the morning trying to ask me questions. And the gym, you know, people just walk in the gym. So I'm sure there'll be some people in my face, but I'm used to that.
Last question, Anthony. You are the champion. See the big 50-pound belt right in front of you. Love hearing stories about champions and their belts. Do you wear it around? Have you done anything goofy with it? Or is it just you keep it at home nice and safe?
You know what? My daughter claimed it pretty much. I bought it home. She's like, Daddy, I want that belt. I'm like, baby, you got to earn that. She's like, I want it. So I had to give it to her. She carries it around. She drives with it. It's hilarious. Yeah, but I just got it, man. I only had it for a month, so I don't plan to let this thing go anywhere.
Michael, you mentioned that when you first started in MMA, you were aware of Faber. I don't know how you could not be, but did you ever consider coming up and joining Team Alpha Male or moving out of the relatively smaller area of Modesto, Oakdale, and moving to Sacramento and kind of falling underneath the umbrella? And the follow-up question, go ahead and answer that.
No, not at all. To me, it's never been a question of whether I wanted to move anywhere. I have everything that I need there. I have, like I said, I have like best wrestler I ever like locked up with, and he's not somebody who's been stagnant in his wrestling. He's been continuously progressing, and right now that guy is amazing, and it's an honor to wrestle with him. We have my head coach, Professor Tom Theophanopoulos. He's amazing at the strength and conditioning, and I got my diet dialed in. And I'll be honest, I don't think there's a group of as technically sound strikers around. I think I'm very confident with the place we have, and I mean, yeah, we have everything we need. I would never want to leave.
And Faber, do Did you ever try to maybe recruit him into Team Alpha Male? Was it one of those things where, hey, Northern or Central California, Northern California, let's bring it together and everybody gets raised up at the same time?
Not necessarily. I don't really go out and do that. As far as recruiting, it's usually somebody kind of comes and shows some interest, and then we let them come out, and if they can hang, then they can hang. There are a few guys, like Lance Palmer's a guy that was from Ohio State, and I met him at an all-star wrestling match, and he showed some interest, and I went out of my way to recruit him. And a guy like Andre Feely, who came up to me after a fight and said, he fought one of our guys, and he thought that, he was waiting for an opportunity to showcase his fighting skills in front of me, and that really was cool to me. So I said, hey, you're welcome to come check out the gym. He didn't have money to train, so I give guys opportunities if they want them, but I don't actually recruit like that. But Michael's little brother, who's a gangster, decided to come up one time when he was 17, and we let anyone come in the gym. We know how we roll, so it's not like we're gonna let any secrets go or anything like that. We're just tough dudes that train hard. And his brother camped out for like 2 days, all day in the gym, sparred like everybody, and just was a savage, man. I was really impressed with him, and he was telling me how Michael's like, you realize I might be fighting Uriah sometime, and just kind of like put a bug in his ear, and that was the only time he came up. But it was good to have him. It was pretty funny.
Nick, 11, 12 fights in the UFC, the majority of them wins. You've been here a long time, yet every single fight's been on the preliminary card. Now you find yourself against a former title challenger and Chad Mendes on the main card of a Fox card. It's got to be some sort of vindication. It's got to feel good.
No, it feels really good, and especially since my move down to 145 pounds, I'm a completely different person. People don't know it yet, but I'm going to be the hardest guy that Chad's ever fought. And that's guaranteed. That includes Jose Aldo. When it comes to this fight, I'm super excited about it. They called me. I already had a fight scheduled. They said, hey, there's an opportunity. Maybe we could get you to fight Chad Mendes. You want it? And I told them, yeah, just sign it up. Whatever I got to do. Whatever I got to sign, whatever we got to do, sign it up. I've been waiting for an opportunity like this, get on the main card, show that I'm a brand new person since changing to American Top Team 145 pounds. I'm telling you guys, I'm the man at 145 pounds. Nobody's going to stop me in here.
And this goes for Matt and Carlos. A lot of great matchups on this dais, a lot of exciting fights. But I think for a lot of people, they were salivating at the premise of you two locking it up. Did you guys kind of get that feeling when this fight was announced? You're like, oh, man, yeah, I kind of know what to expect in this one.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited to fight Matt. He's got a great style. I think the matchup stylistically is going to be make for a really, really exciting fight. Yeah, and then after my last fight and his last fight, I know there was kind of some buzz. People asking for this matchup to be made. And then as soon as it was made, my Twitter blew up. People were just, they were losing it, really, really excited. And, and I think rightfully so. This is going to be a great, great fight. And like I said, stylistically, it's going to make for just a crazy competitive match.
What was the question again?
Just the excitement of fighting Carlos, and to add to that, for the longest time, you've constantly been saying, "I want better competition. Feed me the best. Feed me the best." 6 wins in a row. Now you're fighting one of the best.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I've looked up to Carlos for a long time, even back in WEC. I've been a fan of fighting for a long time, and he's one of the guys I always like watching. So I'm glad to be able to fight. I think he's ranked what, number 2 or 3. So it's a great fight. And I think stylistically, like he said, it's a great matchup. So he's the type of guy that's not gonna come in and try to wrestle me and keep me on my butt for 3 rounds. He's gonna try to put me on my. He's gonna try to take me down with his hands. That's the best takedown in the world is a left hook. So. That's how I'm going to try to take him down. That's how he's going to try to take me down.
I tried to get him off the card because there goes one bonus.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys kind of, you see that? Yeah, exactly.
This question's for Matt. You're riding that 6-fight win streak.
Do you think you're knocking on the door at a title shot if you get through Carlos Condit, who is ranked number 2?
He's ranked number 2, so I beat him. I should be ranked number 1, right? Or at least ranked number 2. So absolutely, no question about it. I think so. I don't know. I don't know who else is in the division. I mean,
Who would you rather face, George St. Pierre or Johnny Hendricks?
both of them. I'll fight them both at once.
And then one question for Anthony. Obvious question for me. How's the knee? I mean, we've heard a lot about it. Haven't quite heard all the details yet, but how's everything going?
Yeah, it wasn't anything that required surgery. That's what allowed me to fight in this card. A lot of therapy, just taking care of it, getting it ready for December. I mean, so that's my last month was spent just getting the knee back to normal. It was a sprain, PCL, and an LCL. And the LCL is what I messed up when I was going to fight Jose Aldo. It was the opposite knee this time, so just rehabbing and taking it easy till I start this camp.
Michael, I'm Joe Cortez with the Modesto B. Living 60 miles from here, or 70 miles, this really should be a home court advantage for you, but you're fighting Uriah, who's from Sacramento. What do you anticipate the atmosphere in the arena being like on December 14th?
Just me personally, I don't really feed off of the crowd or anything else like that. To me, you know, I got my Christian music playing, and this is between me and God, and this is my time. It has nothing to do with anybody else around. This is just me. This is time for me to focus. This is time for me to go and do what I feel like God has put in my life for me to do right now. And this is my job, so I'm gonna go do it. My music is never for, to pump everybody else up. It's for me. I think the crowd would be more happy with me pumping them up with my fight than my music. So the music's for me, get me ready. Doesn't really matter. I don't even like looking at the crowd. I'll soak it in afterwards. Look up like, damn, that's a lot of people.
Uriah, how much do you notice the crowd? How much do you draw off that buzz?
I don't know. It's always been about the same for me. I've always had wherever I am, I get a pretty big response from the fans. So I've never been without it. Really, when I look at fights, it's the same fight that I would have in a playground or in a back alley if somebody was messing with me or something was going down. This is a fight that is instinctual, and it's not about all the hype. It's about two individuals trying to hurt each other, and so I take that very, very seriously. I hate to let my mom down and get beat up, Not that she cares if I win, but she doesn't want me to get hurt, and I don't want to get beat up myself. So I take that really seriously, and this is a fight between Michael and myself, and that's it. And it's gonna be wild, and I hope God's rooting for me too.
You both have had fights with Renan Barão in the last year. What have you learned since that fight against Barão?
I feel like I was a little bit reserved there. It was, for a lot of people don't know the whole background of that fight and how it was kind of a letdown to be in that situation for me on a bunch of different reasons. But for a bunch of different reasons, but it was coming off of a year promoting a fight to fight Dominic Cruz against, in the biggest event of the year, and a huge payday, and there's some animosity there, so it was kind of a down time for me, and I tried never to let any of that. I pride myself on not letting things like that bother me, but it was on my nerves a little bit, and it was getting under my skin. And then I went out there and I felt like I just kind of fought dead a little bit. I had to go, realize the things that I enjoy about this sport, and kind of regroup and get in a different mindset for this next year, which you guys have seen, three big wins. So, on top of that, I broke my rib 2 minutes into the first round. First time I've broken a rib, and no one could tell. I didn't tell my corner, I didn't tell anybody, but it was really hard for me to extend and get like kind of crazy and wild in there like I'd like to, especially when it's kind of a lackluster fight on the feet where no one's really doing any damage. I mean, I didn't take any damage in that other than, a couple leg kicks, and I mean, I didn't really ever catch any flush punches. I'm a hard guy to hit, and I didn't really do any damage to him, so I hate fights like that. And so I'm not looking to have one of those. I need to be more aggressive. I need to impose my will. And my most difficult fights have been when I'm physically injured, whether it be my leg out of commission from Jose Aldo, or broken hands, or broken rib. Those are the fights that give me the most effort. So Michael's best chance is to like physically impair me before things get bad for him.
And Michael, finally, the same for you. How have you grown, changed since Barao?
I've always been a very traditional martial artist. It's always been about martial arts over athletics. And I felt like I pushed that to the limit for my fight with Renan Barao. I feel like I finally got to the limit where I trained as hard as I could without focusing on my athletics, because my body wasn't recovering fast enough. I wasn't putting the right foods in my body at the right times. I feel like it just really taught me a lot about my body, and it just showed me that I have to embrace the athlete in me, not just the martial artist in me, because that's what I've always done. Instead of getting bigger, I would rather learn how to punch harder, through technique. That was always my philosophy. But after that fight, now I see why not do both. So it's just putting a lot more effort into my athletics and really seeing my body as an employee. I used to just work my body, and the more you suffer, the better you're off in the end. And now I've seen it's not exactly about just how much you suffer. You only suffer so that you can put that equal amount of effort into your body to recover. You have to build it back up, or you're never going to get anywhere. And so since then, I've been able to slowly gain muscle and feel a lot better. My last fight, I felt really great. Kind of after my Renan Barao fight, like, okay, this is the wrong direction. I need to go somewhere in this general area over here. And now I feel like after my fight with Brad Pickett, I feel like I'm really nailing it down to a science now.
Anthony, Big E with Metal Cage TV. Congratulations on your brother signing. Now, I had a question. Do you get more nervous for his fights or for your own?
Oh, man, definitely for his fights. I mean, because when he chose to follow my path, my mom put it on me. So if he gets hurt, it's on you. So, right away, I'm like, man, you better not get hurt out there, because my mom's going to be pissed. So, yeah, when he fights, it's out of my control, man. When I'm fighting, it's all in my hands. I control my destiny at that time. When he's in there, I'm on the sideline just like everybody else, screaming at him. But one thing about my little brother, man, is he puts in the time. He puts in the work. He's in the gym all the time. He's only 20 years old. He deserves his shot at the UFC, and he won't disappoint. I think he's going to have a very good career in the UFC.
Look forward to seeing him. Uriah, how you doing, buddy? Hey, throughout this whole conference of art, every time Mike's mentioned you, he's talked about wrestling. I don't know, maybe I should send him some DVDs. I don't know if he's watched your last few fights. Do you feel that he's overlooking your hands?
He's an intelligent guy. I don't think he's overlooking, and I'm not overlooking his jiu-jitsu. That's when you get yourself in trouble. You see black belts that are well-decorated jiu-jitsu players that just assume they're invincible. And, I mean, I hope he's not understand that I'm going to be punching him also, and I've got some heavy hands, and I won't be underestimating his grappling at all. This is a sport where as soon as you don't give someone credit, that's when you get caught. So I'll be expecting the worst on the ground. I'm always down for battle. I mean, my fight with Jose Aldo, was on the feet, and my fight with Renan Barao was on the feet, and Dominic Cruz was on the feet. I can fight anywhere in this cage, but I feel like where he's strongest is definitely his hands, and where I'm probably strongest and compared to him is on the ground. So there's that to think about, but that doesn't mean anything on what's going to happen. Like I said, it's going to be National Geographic. That's the best way to describe it.
Guys, really fast, I want to ask, you guys train with some amazing people in your gyms. I'd like you to tell me, who should we be looking out for in your gym that doesn't have a platform yet, that isn't on a big card? Who should we be looking out for from your gyms right now?
Man, I've got a ton of young guys. I talked about a couple, Andre Feely, who should be in the UFC right now. Lance Palmer, who should also be in the UFC, is an RFA champion as well. Lance is undefeated, and Feely's only lost is to a guy on our team, and that's when he came over. He's been undefeated since. Chris Holdsworth, who's on the Ultimate Fighter right now. Alex Sandoval, we call him Jose Alex because he's so fast and he's good at everything. And we used to use him for the Jose Aldo training since we've all fought him. And he's a 25-pounder that a lot of guys haven't seen. And it goes on and on and on. Vince Murdoch, Angelo Trevino, Bopo Joseph Morales. These are guys that have been training with me since they were like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old that are now 19, 20. Solomon Admahar, Vince Murdoch. And then a bunch of guys that you guys don't even know about yet. We don't even know about yet. Whoever comes to our gym. Michael McDonald's little brother.
Carlos, could I ask the same question from Carlos? From all you guys, I'd like to know.
Yeah, you know, we got a lot of guys that are, you know, kind of doing the regional shows coming up. But a couple guys that are just really fighting on maybe the prelims in the UFC. We got a couple of Russian guys, a guy named Rustam Khabilov, who's fighting George Masvidal coming up on the Fight for the Troops. Really, really good, like you know, incredible wrestling, great, you know, great kickboxing abilities. And then another guy named Adlan Almagov, who's he fought in Strikeforce, and I think he's had one UFC fight. And those guys are scary. They're you know, they're really, really high level wrestlers. You know, acrobat. You know, these guys do backflips, and you have, you know, incredible athleticism, and then you know, on top of that, they're really good kickboxers, and then just tough as nails. So you know, and then there's some other guys, Nick Ursa and Tucker Hunter, and you know, it's just you know, a lot of up and comers.
Yeah, actually, we got two of our guys that signed to the UFC this month, and I think it was because I won this belt. But Dustin Ortiz, he's fighting in Brazil. Sergio Pettis, my little brother. Mike Biggie Rhodes, he's actually a teammate that I took under my wing. He lives with me. Very good fighter, 170-pounder, be in the UFC soon. And then one guy that's, you know, on the main stage already, but Ben Askren, man. He's like stuck in between Bellator, UFC, thinking about retiring. One of the best guys I've ever trained with. I mean, his level of wrestling and how much better he's got at striking is ridiculous, man. So one guy I don't want to see retire, and I don't want to see him get lost, you know, in between organizations.
I forgot Anthony Avila. What up, Anthony? Baller.
Josh?
I mean, right now over at AKA, we have Thomas DeAnge. I think he just fought your brother up in Porterville. He beat him with a cut, yeah. But he was in Strikeforce before. I think he had like 3 losses in a row in Strikeforce when he was at Kung's. Then I brought him over to AKA, and he's 4-0 now with us. So he's definitely making a big comeback. He's in there. He's a 55-pounder, but he fought your brother at what, 45?
Yeah, he's a 35.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, you know, but they, you know, he can make the weight to 45. So to see him at 45, explosive on the stand-up, very good stand-up. I mean, unbelievable. Sandshell background, so good takedowns. And looking forward to seeing him actually. We're hoping for one more fight and get him in the UFC. And then Neo Lahad, who is a black belt under Leo and Leandro Vieira, and very good grappler, extremely good. I think he's like 9-0. So he's actually in the next step. I'm not sure if we just signed him. I think we just signed him yesterday to World Series of Fighting.
Hey, so. Big thank you for what you did to Diaz, too. Thanks.
You're not the only one that's thanked me.
You know, we also have a lot of really good guys, but when I think about the guys that, when I'm not on my game, the guys that beat me up, and more than anybody, my older brother, Justin Smitley, he's fighting for the Tachi Palace belt coming up. My little brother, Brad McDonald, and actually I don't even know if the kid's 17 years old now. I think he's still 16 years old. The guy's name is Sal Becerra, and he's been training with us since he was like 12, and the guy's a freaking killer. So those 3 guys are the people that beat me up the most when I'm not on my game.
Man, there's so many guys. I hate to, you know, leave anybody out. Honestly, I'd feel bad because, you know, I don't want to give someone props. You know, I don't want to forget guys that don't deserve it. But right now, we got a couple guys you'll see on the Ultimate Fighter this year. You know, keep an eye out on them. I don't want to mention their names because, you know, I think it's supposed to be secret or whatever, right? But the one guy I would like to mention, he's still an amateur, but man, he's a stud, and he's going to be like a John Jones when he goes pro. And his name's AJ Dobson. He's one of my best friends in Columbus, and man, he's going to be an absolute monster. So look out for him, I guess.
Thank you.
You know, ATT has got so many top-level fighters that I couldn't even explain it. You know, there's guys there that no one's ever going to hear about that could definitely contend for, that could stomp everyone in the Bellators and definitely do well in the UFC and stuff. I think a lot of the guys at ATT that are moving up, myself included, there's a lot of guys that are already at the UFC level that aren't getting the respect they deserve, I think Sean Jordan's about to knock out Gonzaga, and I think for sure Masvidal is going to beat up Condit's guy. But besides that, I really feel ATT is the best gym in the world. The only thing that can compete with it is Nuva and Yao, and I already beat 2 of those guys, and I only got 1 left.
All right, guys, why don't we open it up for fans if they have. We'll take one more from Ryan here, and then we'll go to you guys. So hold tight, and we'll get a couple of your questions as well.
I did want to get this in. This is for Anthony. Anthony, this past weekend, Mr. Olympia, there was a little get-together between Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei Silva. Supposedly, you had a great view of this. I'm kind of, if you could give us your view on what happened and kind of recall all that went down.
I'll just put it like this, man. Chael's on MMA Inc. He's my teammate, and I got his back no matter what.
Even when the axe murderer's there?
Even when the axe murderer's there, I got his back no matter what.
How you doing, guys? So my question's for Anthony.
Yeah, I'll sign your belt.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna ask that, but I think me and you got some unfinished business. You got your belt. I got my belt.
Yeah.
Let's get this going. No, so Jose Aldo. Say you get past Thomson, which I know you will.
Thank you.
Is that in the future? Is that something you'd like to do? Because
you and I have some unfinished business.
Hey, Josh, you can have that belt. I'll keep this one. Now, yeah, Jose Aldo, definitely, no disrespect against Jose Aldo ever. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful calling him out. I just want to prove that I'm the best at 145, 155. Anybody that's in my area, I want to prove that I'm the best against. And, I got Thomson in front of me right now. We'll worry about that, after this fight.
And then for Michael, you're 22 years old. I kind of look at myself. I'm 23, and I just graduated from radiography. And so I kind of see that, you have an ambition and a goal. So how do you kind of filter your friends out and say, oh, let's go party, let's go do this, and really focus on the main goal? Because I had a hard time trying to study and not trying to party.
Well, I started fighting at 14 years old, so I never started. This has been my life. This has been the only job I've ever had, and it's I started training at 12, and by the time I was in high school, I was already fighting adults, so it wasn't something I had to make a progression over. It was hard for me for a while because I didn't get to do the normal things everyone else did. I never went to like a high school football game or dances or anything like that. I never went out and partied. I was training, so it was hard for me for a while. I kind of went through that chunk of stupid years, like right after my first Cole Escovedo fight. That was kind of like my time where I was like really struggling with this path that I'm on and being so young, but I feel like I'm warming up to it now.
Condit, just gonna say you were one of my favorite fighters, so I always like watching you fight.
Cool, thanks.
Especially when you landed that left hook on Hardy's face.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, what is the most embarrassing or awkward song that you guys have on your iPods?
I don't have an iPod. I use Pandora.
Hi. My wife's got a bunch of songs. I'm gonna blame this on my wife, but there's I don't know, probably some Janet Jackson and I don't know, all kinds of stuff that I only listen to when nobody's looking.
I'm gonna have to go. Where is Thumpkin for my daughter? She loves that song.
Can you feel the love tonight?
That's mine.
I don't know if it's embarrassing or not, but I got like at least 500 or 600 Baby Einstein things for my kids on there. 'Cause I'm not really embarrassed about it though.
I don't know what it's called, but I just put it on there. I don't know the exact title, but it's like Save Your Hood, Kill a Hipster or something like that.
I think I have like a Britney Spears song on there somewhere.
My question is for Anthony Pettis. First off, congratulations on your big win over. Congratulations on your big win.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's Ben Henderson.
Yeah, Ben Henderson. I kind of forgot because I missed that fight a few months ago. So now that you're the champion, you go preparing for your first title defense. You have to like improve your conditioning, your cardio, going to your first title defense come December 14th.
Well, I was getting ready for a 5-round fight with Henderson, so I don't think I have to improve on it. I just gotta keep it consistent. You know, I'm fighting 5. The goal is not to fight 5 rounds, but if it happens, it happens. You gotta be ready for it.
Okay. This question for both Carlos Condit and Uriah Faber. Out of the fighters you fought back in your careers in WEC, who was probably the toughest opponent you ever fought that really brought out your A game?
The toughest opponent didn't bring out my A game, unfortunately. That was Jose Aldo, and man, I took some real abuse from him on my legs. That was probably the most pain I've ever felt. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I brought out my A game, but it was just like the heart was the A game part, not necessarily my performance, because it hurt and it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, I think that sometimes those are mutually exclusive. You know, the toughest guy that you fight doesn't necessarily bring out your A game. But I don't know, maybe you know, George St. Pierre. I mean, is one that sticks out. You know, I don't think I fought my best fight, but he's probably the toughest guy, or the you know, the most technical and toughest guy to fight. I think maybe Dun Young Kim maybe brought out my A game though. He's a really good wrestler, and I was able to get back up to my feet and kind of implement my striking game.
This question is for Josh Thomson. Back in your career in Strikeforce, who was possibly your favorite opponent that fought back in your career Strikeforce?
My favorite one that I fought?
Yeah, back in your career Strikeforce.
Obviously Gilbert.
Gilbert Melendez?
Every time we fought, I mean, the fans are the ones that won, and for me, that's the most important thing, and then people like to make a big deal about, like, me calling out Pettis, and I've got a lot of criticism for it, but there's no disrespect whatsoever. I pick fights, and I try to get the fights that I know that are going to make the best fights for the fans. And people are like, oh, I don't want to see you fight Gilbert again. I said, but every time you guys go, you guys always buy the tickets, right? And you guys always seem to tweet me afterwards how it's the best fight of the year. So I'm just doing you guys a favor. This right here is going to be probably the best fight of the year.
You guys love the microphone, so we only have time for one more question. So, and then we'll square them off.
For Mikey. What's up, Mikey?
What's up, Steve?
My question is for being that you started so early in your career, and I know you've seen my little nephew compete forever. What would you recommend to, like, say, parents, family members, and kids that really love seeing it? Like, kids grew up playing baseball, football, basketball, and, we bring him up as a true martial artist. Our families don't get together and play tackle football on holidays. We spar and wrestle and grapple, and that's what they do in the living room. We pull out the wrestling mats, and that's what they do. So what do you recommend? Like, I mean, would you tell kids, like, to pick it up and do it? Or would you kind of say, no, live your life and enjoy it?
Enjoy what? Your life?
Just enjoy life in general, being that, it could be such a, the small few make it to the highest level. In other sports, kids have been trying to play it, baseball, football, basketball, but now kids see, the MMA at being at the highest level. I mean, what do you say to kids that want to do what you guys do?
I say love what you do. And if that's fighting, then do it. Do it as long as you love it. And if you stop loving it, think about it. To me, I was just thrown into this. You know my story. It was just, I was sitting at home. My brother's like, hey, you want to do a kickboxing class? I'm like, sure. And then, hey, you want a jiu-jitsu class? No. And you maybe do it anyways. And it just kept progressing. Hey, you're going to fight. Okay. And it just turned out to be something I love to do. And that love of MMA was always what kept me rooted. If you don't have the love of MMA and the love of martial arts, because that love of MMA, you can take that for, I guess you could say, interpretation. You know, a lot of people say they love MMA, but they love winning. It's a completely different story. You have to love the martial arts, just like you love anything you do. If it's baseball, go do it. If it's fighting, love fighting. Don't love winning, because you're not going to win all the time. And just love going into the gym. That's what's kept me here, because I have had times where I hate this as a job. I've always loved martial arts, but I have seriously hated this as a job because of all the hard times that it brought me as a kid and not having a normal life. So I know what that's like to be wishy-washy in my job, but it was always that love of martial arts. So I would just say love what you do, and if that's what you love, go for it. If I wasn't making a lot of money here, and I'm still not making a crap load of money, but I'm saying if I couldn't make a living off of this, then you know what? I'd do something else that I love. I'd be doing woodworking. That's another one of my loves. Just do what you love, and that's it.
All right, guys, remember tomorrow, 10 a.m., Ticketmaster.com. Tickets are available for December 14th, so. Oh, a full series of events will come to Sacramento, absolutely. Absolutely. And Dana will be here, I promise you that. So you won't get a pale imitator.